Hi everyone. Today I would like to take the opportunity and present to you a project that is very close to my heart. I am, as many of you know, actively involved in a writing club called Writers Inc. with its base in Braunschweig. It is a club that promotes the composition of texts in English by non-native speakers. Text that means both prose and poetry. Every second year, for over 20 years now, the club establishes a competition that is called Daniel Pashkov Prize. I'm going to talk more about Daniel Pashkov in an upcoming video, so if you're interested, please follow. And in the anthology that followed the competition, in 2012, a lady called Chris Inkensopper had her text Victor published. She actually won third prize with it. And I would like to read the text to you because it really hit home when I glimpsed through the anthology again. Many of you know about my bio and you will know what I'm talking about. So just to promote the club a little bit, this is the book I'm talking about. It's called Let's Heat Our Minds with Open Books. It is from 2012 and it is available still via Writers Inc. if you contact Writers Inc. I think most of the books are €5 now, and even though it is considered grey literature, you know, most of the writers are probably basically unknown, but some of the texts are absolutely stunning, both in content and in their form. And yes, please take the time and listen. And if you're interested in hearing more from Writers Inc., you can always follow us on Instagram, I think on Twitter too, on Facebook. And yes, please feel free to contact me if you're interested in being part of it. So, without further ado, I would like to start reading to you. And please apologize my German accent. Victor. When I saw my son coming home from school bleeding, with torn trousers and a sprained wrist, I thought, okay, what else is new? I know this is strange language for a mother. You're supposed to be concerned about your offspring. You're supposed to embrace your kid, console him, give him sweets, dress his wounds, send for the doctor. You're supposed to call the parents of the evildoer who hurt your son and scream abuse down the line. You're not supposed to yell at your kid, box his ears, drag him into his room and lock the door. Which is exactly what I did. My son is 12. My husband insisted he be called Victor, a ludicrous name in my opinion. It sounds pretentious even for a normal child. My son is anything but. He is one of those extra restless kids with white blonde hair, very bad eyesight and a squint, which was surgically corrected when he was 4. You know the type, both overfamiliar and insufferable. He is fidgety, negligent, and careless. He forgets appointments and objects. He kicks and scampers ad nauseam. He is unable to colour in a drawing without smudging it. He is loud. He breaks things. He has no table manners. He won't eat anything that requires chewing, so I have to feed him forcibly after tying him to his chair. I hate his horrible glasses, as thick and ugly as preserving jars, which make his eyes appear small. I hate his raspy voice, flailing arms, and lumbering feet. I do not understand the demons in him. I don't know where he picked them up. They're foreign to me. I am worn out. Other people have pretty children who sit and play quietly by themselves. Nice, well-behaved kids, showered with love and affection. My son annoys people wherever he goes. Teachers get exasperated. Old ladies call him ill-bred. Little girls are scared of him. He has no friends. Sometimes I ask myself what he gets out of his life. My husband left when Victor was 2. I had to raise him on my own. I trained to be a legal secretary. Money was always scarce. My life felt numb and futile, but somehow I coped. Mothers are supposed to make sacrifices for their children, aren't they? I tried to give him what he needed. Food, a comfortable home, love. People say that love is the solution. But how can you love your kid when there is nothing lovable about him? I am a godly woman. I was raised a Christian. I've been carrying a torch for my husband for years and years. Fool that I am. I kept hoping he might come back to me. Of course he didn't. Why should he come back to a jaded woman who feels old before her time and an obnoxious child? A couple of weeks ago, at the Christmas staff party, I was dancing with one of the barristers. I had nearly forgotten what it feels like to dance. The barrister held me tight. He swayed and turned with me until I was quite beside myself. He asked me why I was so sad-looking. He'd been watching me, he said, and there was something poignant and restrained about me. I'm not sad, I answered. I'm not restrained, I'm just serious. He laughed and said that right now I was being silly. Everyone is sad, now and then. Everyone has the right to be. His lips were soft when he kissed me. They were like a whole new world, a world without a past. He invited me to dinner at a fancy restaurant downtown. Everything was so beautiful. The placemats, the table napkins, the clever way they served the food. The barrister made me laugh, then I started to cry. What's wrong? He said, but I didn't tell him. When I got home at 1 a.m, my son had smashed the mirror in the bathroom, slashed his left wrist and his fingers were bleeding. His stupid glasses had fallen into the loo. I had to rush him to the emergency ward. The attending physician looked at me skeptically, and Victor was squirming and screaming, snot on his face, blood all over the front of his shirt. His arm was bandaged. He was given a sedative, and I took him home. If only he had been born to somebody else. What will I do when he's 14, 15, 16? I can still master him physically, but it is getting harder and harder to tie him down. I feel terrorized by his scowl, his kicks and pinches. Once, he attacked me with a knife. Another time, he tried to get at my eyes with a knitting needle. What if I'd never had him in the first place? The barrister asked me if I would like to meet his family. He is divorced. He has 2 children whom he sees regularly, a boy and a girl. He showed me their photographs. They are neat kids with clear-cut faces, snot noses, dimpled smiles. They're obviously happy, at one with the world. Next weekend there'll be a family reunion in the big town, and the barrister invited me to come along. His parents will be there, his brothers and sisters. Of course, I can't take my son. Just the idea makes my skin crawl. When the barrister asked me about my family, I said I had no children. Afterwards, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried for hours. It is just the one weekend. How I would love to go. But I can't leave Victor on his own. He will be up to all sorts of mischief. He might break the furniture. He might forget to switch off the cooker. He might cause a flood. He might set fire to the apartment. He's not to be trusted. I can't inflict him on anyone else either. The woman next door would occasionally look after him when he was younger, but he broke a valuable vase. There was an awful lot of fuss, and I ended up having to pay for the damage. She called him an incubus. That was the last I heard from her. The other day at work, they were talking about a client who killed himself with yew needles. He ate about 50 needles and died in his sleep. Allegedly, it had been a peaceful ending. Oh, just to leave my nasty, dreary life behind, to wallow in fresh hotel sheets, have breakfast brought to my room, kiss the barrister and listen to him telling me I was beautiful, charming, a princess. There is a yew tree in the garden next door. What if I gathered a spoonful of needles, ground them thoroughly, and gave them to my son, say, in his kanji? I'd tell him, Victor, I'll be gone for a couple of days. There's kanji for you in the fridge. Be a good boy and I'll see you on Monday. The alternative would be to tie him up while I'm gone. But what kind of an alternative is that? Isn't it my duty as a mother to make him suffer as little as possible? There is so much pointless suffering in this world. Shouldn't I alleviate Victor's pain and my own as best as I can? Men still do look at me with that certain mischievous glint in their eyes. But then they zero in on Victor and, hey presto, they act disgusted. I've gone through all that and then some. Nobody will take me on that with a son like that, and I am only 32. It's about time. Last night I prepared a dish of congee and seasoned it lovingly with pepper, salt, curry, chili, and yew needles. I covered the dish with cling film. I ironed my good dark blue dress and packed my overnight bag. I kissed Victor tenderly and gratefully when I was leaving. He didn't kiss me back. I trust he will quietly go to sleep and set me free.